everyone and welcome back to Sprinkle with Paper. Today I'm going to be sharing how I made these cute pencil boxes by using Cricut Design Space and by layering multiple colors of vinyl. Let's go on ahead and jump right into our design. We'll start by going to Cricut Design Space and opening up a new project. The first design I'll be working on today is a dinosaur theme for my son Jack. I'm going to start by going over to text and typing out his name. And from here, I can change the font. So since it's a dinosaur theme, I'm going to go with the font A Frightful Affair. I feel like this font kind of looks like a stone, and I feel like it will go perfect with the dinosaur that I'm planning on adding. Now I'm going to add my dinosaur. So this dinosaur is already saved on my computer, so I'm going to go over to Uploads, and I'm going to locate the file. And this file is actually something that I sell over on Etsy and on sprinkleofpaper.net. So if you purchase any of my files, you'll receive a zip file, and you just need to unzip it, and it will be opened up into a new folder, and you'll receive 4 files. So the file that you want to use for Cricut Design Space is the SVG. So go ahead and click on the SVG, and you will be prompted to save it. So once it's saved, it will be added to your uploaded projects or your uploaded files. So go ahead and highlight it, and then you can insert it into your project. So once you have it in there, you can resize it, you can change the color, you can flip it, and you could also change it to a print and cut. Today I'm going to go back to the no fill, which will make it a cut file. And I'm going to change the color back to green because I'm going to be using 2 separate colors of vinyl for cutting. So I want the letters and the dinosaur to be 2 separate colors so they don't cut on the same sheet. From here I'm going to ungroup the letters of Jack so I can manually adjust the spacing between the letters. And once I like the way that it looks, I'm going to highlight the whole thing, the dinosaur and the word Jack, and I'm going to adjust the size of the whole image. So I've already measured out my pencil box, so I know I don't want the width to be any larger than 6.5, and I want to make sure that the height is still under 4 inches. Now here's the important part when working with vinyl. I'm going to highlight the word Jack, and I'm going to attach it. But really quick, before I do that, let me just show you what would happen if I didn't attach the letters. So I'm going to go up to Make It, and when I get to my mat, my cutting mat, you're going to see that the word Jack isn't in the right order. So from here, I could cut these out and individually attach each of the vinyl letters to my project, but that's going to be extremely difficult. So I'm going to go back over to my project, and I'm going to select the word Jack and make sure you're just selecting your word, not also the image that's a different color. And I'm going to select attach. Now when I go up to Make It, you'll see that the word Jack is in the right order. So it will cut this way, so then when I go to place it on my project, it's going to make it a lot easier. The supplies you'll need to complete today's project are your Cricut machine, a mat, pencil box, a ruler, scraper, scissors, vinyl, transfer tape, and I'll also be using some masking tape. The brand of vinyl I'll be using today is the Oracle brand. This brand is my favorite because I find it much easier to weed than the Cricut vinyl. I'll also be using a little bit of masking tape just to keep the edges down, since this mat isn't brand new and it's not quite as sticky as it was when I originally bought it. So the masking tape will just help to hold the vinyl in place so it doesn't shift at all while cutting. The setting I used was just the vinyl setting, so I turned the dial on my Cricut machine to vinyl, loaded my machine, and then just hit the Cricut symbol to cut. As you can see when I'm weeding the dinosaur and Jack, that this vinyl is super easy to work with. From here, I'm just going to measure the space on the pencil box where I want the design, and then I'm going to cut the transfer tape to size. Using transfer tape when applying vinyl gives you a nice polished and clean professional look. Now that I have my transfer tape cut to size, I'm going to figure out which of the images, either Jack or the dinosaur, I want to have in the front. So I want the little arm to look like it's holding up the name Jack. So I'm first going to attach the dinosaur to the transfer tape. So to do that, you just peel back the transfer tape, and now it's like a big clear sticker, and I'm going to place it over on top of the dinosaur, and I'm going to smooth it out, because what we're doing is we're transferring the dinosaur from the piece of white paper it's currently on onto the transfer tape. So now when I peel it back, the dinosaur will be on the transfer tape. And now I can go on ahead and place Jack exactly where I would like it. So I can put it right in the dinosaur's hand. So I'm going to now place the transfer tape over Jack. And I'm just going to use a piece of scrap, some of the scrap vinyl, the backing, underneath just to make sure it doesn't stick down to my surface. I'm going to smooth it out. And now when I peel back the transfer tape, I will have both Jack and the dinosaur exactly how I would like them stuck onto the transfer tape. Now I'll just position it onto the pencil box, and this part is really important. You have to really smooth it out when you're working with vinyl and plastic. I see so many videos where they just completely skip over this step and they make it look like they just lay it on and peel it off and it comes off super easily. It's not really the case. You kind of have to work with it. So really smooth it out, and as you go to peel it up, if it's coming up a little bit, that's okay, don't worry. Just put it back down and use your scraper or your finger, smooth it out, and then, just keep trying, but it will stick. So you just have to work with the edges a little bit. Once you can get one edge up and start peeling back, you'll see it's much easier, but just that first one or two spots you go to peel up, you have to really work at it. Next, I'm going to get started on Madison's design. So for Madison's design, I'm just going to go over to text and type in her name, and then I'm just going to test out a few different fonts. The font I ended up deciding on is October Twilight, which is one of my favorites. I want to keep Madison's design simple, but I also want to add a little something else. So I'm going to add the first initial of her name, and I'm going to change the M to a block letter, and my favorite font for block letters is Arial Black. Now I'll just change the color of the M so I have a better view of what I'm working with. And then now I can see that Madison will actually look better if all the letters are attached. So I'm going to ungroup the word Madison, and now I can move each letter separately so they are touching and slightly overlapping. And once I like the way that it's arranged, I'm going to highlight the whole word and select Weld. Now the word Madison is one single image. Now I'm just going to resize Madison and the M so it will fit nicely on the pencil box. And I'm also going to change the color of the M to purple since I know I'll be using a purple vinyl for this particular piece. And I like to coordinate my Cricut Design Space cuts to the vinyl or paper that I'm using just to stay organized. Once my design was complete, I went up to make it and then prepared my mats for cutting. Again, I'll be using the Oracle brand of vinyl, and I'll also be using some masking tape to help secure the vinyl down to the mat. Once my Cricut dial is set to vinyl, I'll load my machine and then just press the blinking Cricut button to cut. While the vinyl's cutting, I'm going to prepare my transfer tape. Now that my vinyl is cut and weeded, I'm going to add the transfer tape. So it's really important when you're working with multiple layers of vinyl to work top to bottom, meaning that the pieces or the images that you want to have on top or up front need to be applied to the transfer tape first. So for example, I would like Madison to be on top of the M, so I'm going to apply Madison to the transfer tape first. Once you have your first layer of vinyl applied to the transfer tape, now you'll go on to the next one. So now I'm going to add the transfer tape, which also has Madison on it, directly onto the letter M. And as I mentioned before, when you're applying vinyl to plastic, make sure that you're really working all the little corners. Make sure you're smoothing everything out so there are no air bubbles. So when you do go to pull the transfer tape off, you get a nice clean finish. And there you have it, a fun and easy way to customize pencil boxes for heading back to school. I'll link all the fonts and SVGs that I used in today's video down in the description, and please leave a comment of something that you customized for either your kids or your grandkids for heading back to school. I would love to know what you've been using your Cricut machine for. So thanks again for watching and happy crafting.